What if I told you that the classic 32 PSI number, the one almost everyone uses, might be silently destroying your tires, increasing your fuel consumption, wearing out your suspension, and even making your braking worse? Same car, same tires, everything looks perfectly normal. But a simple inflation habit can reduce tire lifespan by up to 30 to 40%, increase fuel consumption, and even extend your braking distance right when you need it most. And here's the part most people don't realize. Many cars leave the dealership with incorrect tire pressure. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the famous 32 PSI became a standard, why it's wrong for most modern cars, and what the correct pressure actually is, based on engineering, not guesswork. Stick with me until the end, because the most dangerous mistake is the one people make thinking they're doing the right thing. Number 1. Where did the 32 PSI myth come from? Ask 10 drivers what the ideal tire pressure is, and at least 8 will say 32 PSI. Like it's some universal rule. But it's not. This number goes back decades, when cars were lighter, tires were narrower, and suspensions were softer. Back then, something between 30 and 32 PSI worked as a general average. The problem is, cars evolved. Tires changed. Vehicles got heavier. Weight distribution became more complex. But the habit, that stayed frozen in time. Number 2. Why the number on the tire is misleading. This is one of the most common and dangerous mistakes. That number on the sidewall, usually between 44 and 51 PSI, is not the recommended pressure. It's the maximum safe limit. It exists to prevent structural failure under extreme load conditions. It has nothing to do with comfort, grip, or real-world performance. Using that number as a reference is like driving your engine at redline all the time just because it can handle it. What tire pressure actually controls? Tire pressure affects way more than comfort. It determines the contact patch, heat buildup, wear pattern, suspension load, steering response, and even braking distance. Too low pressure leads to sidewall wear, heavier steering, more heat, and higher fuel consumption. Too high pressure wears the center of the tire, reduces grip, makes the ride harsher, and worsens braking on uneven surfaces. The ideal point is balance, not guessing. Number 3. Why 32 PSI doesn't work anymore. Here's the reality. Modern cars are heavier, run wider tires, carry more tech, and have completely different weight distribution. That's why many vehicles today require 33, 35, 36 PSI, or even higher depending on load. Following 32 PSI out of habit often means you're driving underinflated for your specific car. And underinflation is the number one cause of premature tire wear. What mechanics see every day. Ask an experienced mechanic what destroys tires the most, and they won't blame bad brands or rough roads. They'll say, incorrect pressure. It's extremely common to see nearly new tires with worn edges, TPMS warnings ignored for months, and alignment blamed unfairly. As many professionals say, the problem starts with air, not rubber. There's another factor too, fuel economy regulations. In the US, manufacturers often optimize tire pressure to reduce rolling resistance and improve MPG numbers. But higher pressure can slightly reduce real-world grip and comfort. So automakers choose a balance point. And that balance is on the door sticker. Number 4. Why front and rear pressures are different. Open your car door, and you'll likely see different numbers for front and rear tires. That's not a mistake. Most vehicles carry more weight in the front due to the engine, transmission, and steering system. If you set all 4 tires to the same pressure just for convenience, you're ignoring how the car actually works. Over time, that leads to faster front tire wear, less precise steering, and reduced braking stability. Another detail almost nobody considers: load. A car with just the driver is one scenario. A fully loaded vehicle with passengers, luggage, maybe even roof cargo, completely different story. More weight means more tire flex, more heat, and more wear. That's why there's a separate pressure recommendation for loaded conditions. Ignore that, and you increase the risk of tire failure. Why checking pressure cold is mandatory. Tire pressure must be checked when the tires are cold. That means before driving or after the car has been sitting for a few hours. While driving, tires heat up, and pressure increases by about 1 psi for every 5 to 6 degrees Celsius. If you check them hot and release air, The next morning your tires will be underinflated. This is one of the most common mistakes. Number 5. Temperature changes everything. Temperature swings directly affect tire pressure. A drop of about 30 degrees Fahrenheit can reduce pressure by roughly 2 to 3 PSI. That's enough to impact wear, fuel economy, and overall handling. If you set it once and forget it, you're probably driving with the wrong pressure most of the time. Neither winter nor summer forgives neglect. Why the dashboard light isn't enough. A lot of drivers rely on the tire pressure warning light. But it doesn't solve the problem. The system usually triggers only when pressure drops about 25% below the recommended level. By that point, uneven wear, excess heat, and reduced stability are already happening. It's an emergency system, not maintenance. What real-world data shows? Studies from organizations like the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration show that more than half of vehicles on U.S. roads have at least one tire underinflated. And many are running all four outside the ideal range. This isn't just carelessness. It's misinformation. People learned one number and never updated it. Number 6. The impact goes beyond the tire. Driving with incorrect tire pressure doesn't just damage the tire itself. It increases wear on wheel bearings, bushings, ball joints, shocks, and the entire suspension system. An underinflated tire behaves like a soft spring. An overinflated tire turns into a rigid block. In both cases, the entire vehicle takes the hit. And then there are people who intentionally increase tire pressure trying to improve fuel economy. Yes, it might slightly reduce fuel consumption. But in exchange, you lose grip, wear out your tires faster, and compromise safety. In the end, it costs more. Conclusion. Remember this. The only number that truly matters is the one on the driver's door jamb. That value was defined after extensive testing involving suspension, braking, stability, load, and durability. It's not random. It's not exaggerated. It's the balance point of the vehicle. Everything else is just adjustment on top of that, never a replacement. And that's exactly where most people go wrong. Number 7. Completely forgetting the spare tire. It sounds basic, but it happens all the time. Drivers take care of the 4 main tires and completely ignore the spare in the trunk. Roadside assistance professionals often report a frustrating reality. A large percentage of calls end with the same discovery: the spare tire is flat too. Tires naturally lose pressure over time, roughly 1 PSI per month. If you haven't checked your spare in a year, there's a very high chance it's unusable. And there's another important detail. Those temporary spare tires, the so-called donut, operate at much higher pressures, usually around 60 psi. If you've never checked it, you might be trying to use a spare sitting at 35 or 40 psi. That's not safe. You risk damaging the tire, the wheel, and even losing control of the vehicle. Every time you check your tires, take an extra 30 seconds and check the spare. Inflate it according to what's indicated on the tire itself or in the owner's manual. This simple habit can prevent you from being stranded on the side of the road with a completely useless backup plan. Nothing ruins a trip faster than finding out your Plan B doesn't work. Now let's move to a modern and expensive mistake. Number 8. Not resetting the tire pressure monitoring system. Most modern vehicles in the U.S. come equipped with a tire pressure monitoring system, or TPMS. The problem is, many people inflate their tires and drive off without resetting the system. That's a serious mistake. If you don't reset it, the car continues using old pressure values as its reference. That means if a tire loses pressure later, the system may not warn you at the right time, because it still thinks everything is normal. A lot of TPMS-related issues come down to one simple cause: no recalibration after maintenance. And the fix is easy. After inflating your tires, turn the ignition on without starting the engine, go into the dashboard or infotainment menu, and find the TPMS reset option. Confirm it, then drive for a few minutes so the system can register the new baseline. It takes less than a minute and ensures the system actually works. Some vehicles do this automatically, but you can't rely on all of them. If the reference point is wrong, everything else becomes unreliable. Now let's talk about a mistake involving mixing things. Number 9. Mixing regular air with nitrogen without understanding it. Some tire shops offer nitrogen inflation as if it's a premium upgrade. And yes, there is some science behind it. Nitrogen leaks more slowly and is less sensitive to temperature changes. But here's the problem. If you top it off with regular air later, you dilute the nitrogen. After a few refills, it basically becomes regular air again. So you paid for something that lost its benefit. If you choose nitrogen, you need to consistently maintain it with nitrogen. But let's be real, for 99% of drivers, regular air works perfectly fine. The real secret isn't the gas. It's consistency. The benefits of nitrogen in daily driving are minimal. In practice, you'll get nearly the same results just by maintaining correct pressure with regular air. Don't fall for unnecessary upsells. Now let's move into a more technical and critical point. Number 10. Ignoring the impact of load. The ideal tire pressure changes depending on how much weight the vehicle is carrying. Driving alone with no cargo? Use the standard recommended pressure. But going on a trip with 4 passengers, luggage, and a fully loaded trunk? You need to increase pressure. More weight causes greater tire deformation. That leads to more heat and higher internal stress. If you don't compensate for that, the risk of tire failure increases, especially at highway speeds. Your owner's manual usually provides the correct pressure for fully loaded conditions. Use it. And if you're towing, you may need even higher pressure, always staying within the tire's maximum limit. Ignoring this is exactly the kind of mistake that leads to blowouts during road trips. And it usually happens when the vehicle is fully loaded. Think of it this way. The tire was engineered to support a specific load at a specific pressure. If the load changes, the pressure needs to change too. Otherwise, something will eventually give.